Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to Mexican Coke is a lie. Now, when I was first asked to react to this, I was thinking, this is going to be about cocaine or something like that. But nope, it's about Coca-Cola, the drink. Although it may still have something to do with that drug, because obviously one of the ingredients of Coke back in the day was cocaine leaves, or maybe even actually the actual cocaine. I don't know, but maybe this is about that. There's got to be some kind of link there. The video's by Johnny Harris, great channel, so yeah, I'm sure it's going to be fun to watch. So let's do it.
Mexican Coke is just so much better. Real sugar, everything's in Spanish. This beautiful retro bottle.
The glass bottle,
it's just
the
better.
best. It is the best way to drink soda.
Right? It's just better. Actually, the reality is no. Something's going on with Mexican Coke, and I need to tell you about it.
So Mexican Coke tastes different. I've noticed that African Coke and Fanta taste different to European stuff. It's probably more sugar.
By the way, this video is sponsored by Squarespace, which I will tell you about at the end of the video.
Ice cold Coca-Cola.
A quality product made with the best of materials.
Look at the retro advert.
So we're here in our little cabin, which is actually an 1800s church. See the picture of Jesus right there that we've turned into an Airbnb that you can rent out if you want, but I'm here to talk about Coke. So let me sit here on this old church pew and tell you what I've learned about this Mexican Coke over the past few days of sitting here in isolation. Is this really Mexican Coke? I mean, it says Hecho en Mexico on it, so it's got to be Mexican Coke, right?
Nothing else gives you the bracing sparkle and the bright little lift that's so delightfully yours in ice-cold Coca-Cola.
First off, let's talk about what Coca-Cola even is and why there's a difference between US Coke and Mexican Coke. I mean, Coca-Cola is like this giant international company that is known for having a secret recipe that they export to every corner of the globe. So why is there a difference between Coca-Colas?
It's insane that they've only got really that's their main product and they're still so huge. I know they sell other stuff, but like really Coke is...
I mean, let's go straight to the source of all knowledge, Wikipedia, right? The drink's name refers to its original ingredients, coca leaves and cola nuts, a source of caffeine. Wait, what? Coca leaves? I know coca leaves, but only because I rode with a bunch of anti-narcotic police in a helicopter over coca fields in Colombia, busting people for cocaine production for an episode of Vox Borders. These are the people who are growing coca leaves. Yes, indeed, the original Coca-Cola recipe included coca leaves, which is the derivative that is used to make cocaine. But don't worry, your bottle of Coke doesn't include any coca leaves today, or maybe it does, or no one really knows because no one actually knows the recipe. This is not a conspiracy video about cocaine being in your Coke. I'm interested in another ingredient that is inside of this bottle, and it's the sweetener.
It's made out of sugar.
Sugar cane. Sugar.
It's made with better ingredients.
Originally, all Coca-Cola was sweetened with the same thing, straight up sugar, or what it's chemically known as sucrose.
But then, a few things happened in the United States that changed that. First, the US government got really aggressive about giving money to US farmers to keep them profitable.
So they started pouring a lot of money into corn, subsidizing corn farmers in the United States. You can see this very clearly in our country. There are entire states that are basically one giant cornfield. So if you're a corn farmer in the 1980s, you have every incentive in the world to just produce loads of corn, as much as your soil can possibly eke out. Unsurprisingly, what this means is that you have a major surplus of corn. Loads of corn everywhere. Way too much corn just spilling out of every corner of the United States. At the same time, the US is putting up trade barriers, basically tariffs for sugar coming in from other countries. So sugar became expensive, corn became incredibly cheap. And so businesses like Coca-Cola did what businesses do, and they rejiggered everything to find the cheapest possible option. And this is when they turned to a newly invented sweetener that came from corn and tasted sweet like sugar, but was chemically very different. Sugar is sucrose, that's its kind of chemical name. This new corn sweetener was glucose and fructose, but it was still very sweet, but it came from cheap corn. And they started to use that to sweeten their Coca-Cola in the United States. Enter high fructose corn syrup.
Did you know that corn, one of America's favorite foods, is used to make
I
America's
wonder if American
favorite
Coke
syrup,
tastes
a
like
wholesome
UK
kind
Coke,
of
because
sweetness
our
that
Coke
comes
here
from
isn't as
corn.
good as
Look
like
what happened
African
to
Coke
high
either.
fructose corn syrup production in the United States versus sugar in the 80s and 90s. High fructose corn syrup became the obvious choice because it was way cheaper, and Coca-Cola started using it to sweeten their drinks.
So this is how you get two different Coca-Colas. The United States producing Coke that is made with high fructose corn syrup, and the rest of the world, including Mexico, without any of these trade restrictions and corn subsidies, continuing to use cane sugar to sweeten their Coca-Cola. And then the taste wars begin.
Ooh, it's actually a lot better.
It's the sugar. Got a
It's not
natural.
all syrupy.
Soon, Mexican Coke became a delicacy in the United States.
Delicacy.
It was only sent to places that had big Mexican populations or other immigrant populations that were used to this cane sugar Coke. And so it became rare and hard to find and obscure. Not surprisingly, hipsters like me got really into it. It was authentic, and it was the original recipe, and it was hard to find, and it was in this retro glass bottle. It felt like some commodity was being sent from the other side of the border in this kind of renegade way, and we were getting in on it.
Almost like a
It tasted
drug.
so much better with that cane sugar.
Man, that stuff is so good.
It won't feel like corn syrup all over in my guts. Just have a much smoother, more delicious taste.
So much better. So much better. But wait, this is where
Guys, if any of you guys who have tried the Mexican version and the American version, or you probably tried the American version, which one do you guys prefer? Do you prefer the Mexican one or the US one?
it starts to get really weird. In 2010, a group of legit scientists get together to do a legitimate experiment for a legitimate science journal, and they want to test soft drinks, including Coca-Cola. They want to know what sorts of sweetener are being used for each and how much of that sweetener is in each of them. So they gather a bunch of soft drinks, including a Mexican Coca-Cola and an American Coca-Cola, and they do all of their testing. And what they find is that the Mexican Coca-Cola actually has no sucrose in it, meaning sugar. All they find in this is glucose and fructose, the elements that are used to build high fructose corn syrup.
What?
In the Mexican Coke that came from a Latino market in East LA, they found no sugar. They only found the elements.
They should have got
for
it from
high
Mexico
fructose
City,
corn
though.
Syrup. What is happening? This is supposed to be sugar. It says on the ingredients, sugar, but it tastes so much better. It's different.
Maybe it's
It
the
tastes
composition of the
so
chemical.
much better,
They must have modified it.
right?
They must have changed the composition of the high fructose corn syrup to be more
Better.
similar to sugar.
Right? It gets weirder. In 2013, Mexican lawmakers became very concerned with the obesity rate in Mexico, which is considered by public health officials as, quote, the fattest country in the world. Not my
Really?
words, theirs.
Mexico, the fattest country in the world.
Mexico has a big obesity problem, and one of the links to that is the massive amount of sugar that is consumed. Mexican legislators slapped on a tax for soda.
Sugar
All
tax.
soda was going to be subject to a
Soda
tax,
tax.
which made it more expensive to produce, which sent Coca-Cola looking for cheaper options to bottle their Coke. And cheaper options equal high fructose corn syrup. As of 2013, okay, we're talking like 7 years ago, more and more bottlers of Coca-Cola in Mexico, serving Mexican markets, are using high fructose corn syrup to sweeten their Coca-Cola and selling it in Mexico. So now even legitimate Mexican Coke is not even Mexican Coke anymore. It's identical to the high fructose corn syrup stuff you buy here. One of the main bottlers came out and said, don't worry, we're going to continue to send cane sugar Coke to the United States because we know that people really like it in the United States, and we'll continue to send it because it's good business for us to keep making it with cane sugar. But I don't even believe that guy because of that study. Remember the study that said no sucrose, only glucose and fructose, i.e. high fructose corn syrup?
Because the thing is, they could easily just label it as sugar, like unless they're held to some kind of, truth standard.
I don't believe you, Mexican bottler. I don't believe that you're sending us cane sugar Coca-Cola anymore. Not surprisingly, Coca-Cola has caught on to this idea that people like me love Mexican Coke, and they've totally leaned into it. They've created this gimmicky branding that's like, Hecho en Mexico.
Here it is. Here is the offending product. Bought it at Target. It's just sitting here being so tokenizing of Mexican aesthetic and culture. Okay, back to it.
Authentic, original flavors. And they've really leaned into it because they know that there's a cult following of people like me who will pay more money. Okay, so I've been social distancing out here in this cabin in the woods for like 2 weeks. I've been reading way too much about the Coca-Cola bottling industry, and it has completely shattered my identity as a Mexican Coke drinker. One, because there's probably not even sugar in this, and two, because Mexicans don't even drink Mexican Coke anymore. They drink high fructose corn syrup. Cool. I guess there is still one reason why I would drink Mexican Coke, because it still comes
in the glass
in
bottle.
This cool retro glass bottle that makes me feel really cool about myself. And that is why I will continue to drink it. Thank you.
Cheers to y'all.
And now let me sit by my wood.
Really great video. Really enjoyed it. Sugar in soft drinks tastes infinitely better. Like here, there's a sugar tax, and a lot of the soda companies have, started using aspartame or other sort of sugar substitutes, and they're not the same. Yeah, they're drinkable, but it's not as good. Like whenever I go to Nigeria and I drink Fanta, especially African Fanta, is a million times. Google image it. It's darker. It's like an orange, a real deep orange color. It is delicious, guys. Same thing with Coke. It's got a deeper flavor. That sugar, honestly, it completely changes the taste. It's crazy. So yeah, I think what they need to do is, you can have your high fructose corn syrup version, but bring back the original versions and let people decide for themselves. If you want, charge extra for the sugar versions, to cover your tax liabilities or whatever. Charge extra. I will pay for it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.